Bene. Bodo bonnet lo ani Charlie. Mayo. Baba, please Charlie. What is that?
Oh, Josiah. Jay let me film corner. Yeah, last stop.
Is it?
That's mine. Yeah. Hey, what is that?
Should we tell them in Kalayato?
Oh yeah, yeah. Take me down with you. Yeah.
The heights near here, and yet I am that way. Boy, bully, can you bully, pay Halle? Oh, that. You're like,
Are we going now? Everybody signal us. Well, you need to signal. Why are we live? When?
Ayo, that's one.
The sound is coming.
Show your camera.
Account you or down. Account or is an account or down.
What bottle water anyway? When you pure water, you get that TV now.
Well, down.
I'm not going.
Yeah, hello, David, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you, what are we doing first?
So we are just starting with a review of the games played. Then we just do a quick, some one or two quick thoughts on the games. Then we start a play by play because we only have about 50 minutes to go.
Yes, so maybe we'll take the line. Okay, so just can we just like start happening?
Sure. We can. So let's go. All right. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Wow.
How come we be power bank? Like, how? We know the power bank.
Power bank.
That means I think about run through lineup. Think about that. Yeah, you can hear that. Are we going? Charlie, count more down more. I think I touch it. But you need to count us down to make everyone aware. That's what you do. Cool. So half time we'll break. Okay, so we'll do the post match. Sure, there's no problem. So let's go. When you're touching, phone and phone. We can. All right, so good evening and welcome to the Al Media Watch Along night here. We are bringing to you live commentary in the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus, round of 16 in the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. My name is Josiah and you're live on the Al Media channel. We're also live or transmitting live from the Al Media studios. Now, don't forget to like, share, and then also subscribe because we are live on YouTube, we are live on TikTok, and then also we are live on Facebook. Now it's the biggest game. I call it the biggest game of the round of 16 stage. We've seen a couple of upsets. We've seen some of the favorites also scale through. But then today it's a matchup between two European giants in Real Madrid. 15-time UEFA Champions League winners. They are taking on Juventus, the old ladies of Italian football. And I wouldn't be doing this alone, but then I'm here with Messi and then also Force that will be helping me with the in-depth, incisive, very interesting analysis as we go along. And like we always do it, all you have to do is to send your predictions, your full-time predictions, and we'll be talking about it. We'll be mentioning it as well as wherever you're watching us from, because we'll be keeping you updated like we've done since the tournament began. We brought you one of the biggest games of the round, and today we are here to bring you another one as well. Before I even proceed to run through the lineup, let me introduce my guest, Messi. Welcome to the Watch Along here on our media.
Thank you.
And then also I have Atiga Mauli Force to my left, and the game will be starting in the next couple of minutes. But first of all, let's talk about one of the greatest upsets we've ever seen in the world of football. I'll begin with you, Messi. I know you were not expecting Al Hilal to beat Manchester City, but they managed to do it, and it tells you the competitiveness of this tournament. But were you utterly surprised, or it was just one of those games you believe could have happened?
I was sort of in the balance with the game between Manchester City and then Al Hilal, because prior to the game, I felt like Pep and his boys were just not putting as much effort as the other people as compared to Al Hilal. I think they came to prove a point, and they are just going by that. Looking at their game so far, it looks like they are trying to prove a point. Unlike Manchester City, who is just like, yeah, we are here, we know who we are, and we are not trying too much. So I think they kind of downplayed the effort of Al Hilal, and then it's literally came back and then hit them in the worst way possible, because it was sad. All the odds were against Al Hilal, and to see Manchester City go down like that, it was shocking. It was shocking, but I sort of predicted it was 50-50 for me.
You think it was 50-50?
It was.
For a side that City were the only side to have recorded 100% win rate in their group stage game. So obviously, like you said, it would have tilted. The odds would have been in their favor to win this one.
Al Hilal, they had a competitive run up to this quarterfinal qualification. They had a very competitive run. Looking at their face-off with someone like Real Madrid, right? They had so much to prove, and they stood by it. City, on the other hand, looking at their last game with Juventus, scoring 5 against 2, and then coming, and then it was just bound to be. And I'm glad that Al Hilal, has made it to the next stage. Next, they should get right. They should get sit and do their work.
Okay, so Messi insists, or she has an advice for Manchester City. They should just go back, regroup, and put things in place. So like I said, it's the watch along commentary live here for the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. We've already witnessed 6 games in the round of 16 stage. Fluminense are through. There are a couple of teams, Palmeiras, Chelsea also through, PSG through. Yesterday we witnessed 2 huge shocking results as Inter Milan also bowed out of the competition, and then also Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, it looks like gradually he's beginning to lose his mojo. But then, Atika, let's talk about Inter Milan and, that shocking result. Yesterday was one of the days so far in the tournament that, anything anyone could have predicted would have just gone wrong. And you're asking, what's wrong with the European giant? Are we going to see something similar today? Or what happened to them yesterday?
Josiah, you cannot decouple the performances of the European teams from the South American teams. I mean, the South Americans have continuously stated and indicated that they are as good, if not better, than the European clubs. So you would have to understand and appreciate where the South American teams are coming from. Because from the group stages, almost, I think, all the four teams that came from Brazil qualified to the round of 16. So it tells you the strength of the Brazilian teams in particular. You look at Palmeiras, you look at Flamengo, you look at the other teams that have been able to qualify. So you cannot underestimate the South American teams. The teams that you might not necessarily fancy are the teams from Asia, the teams from Africa, and then the teams from the Oceania region. And rightly so, the South Americans have been vindicated about their style of football. They are rugged, they are fast, they are pacey, they are strong. You understand? And these are conditions that Europeans are not necessarily attuned to. And then the weather conditions too can play a part.
Sure.
Because clearly the match against the match involving Chelsea and then I think Flamengo, called off for 2 hours. It just tells you that the conditions are not viable for the European teams, and also because the South American teams are that good.
Interesting. So that was just a quick recap of the games we witnessed yesterday. Manchester City out of the tournament. Shockingly, yes. So if you've not heard of it, then Manchester City, one of the favorites to win the competition, having booted out by Al Hilal, one or the only remaining representative from the Middle East and then also from Asia. But quickly, let's run you through the lineup. Courtois in post, Dean Hussein, Chouameni, Rudiger. So it looks like Xabi Alonso is going with a 3-back system. Garcia at left back. There's Gula, Valverde, and Trent. Trent is playing at right wing back. We would definitely be talking about his performance. Jude Bellingham, Vinicius playing right behind Garcia. And then there's Andre Lunin, Dani Carvajal, who is back from injury. That's quite a boost for them. Eder Militao, Raul Asensio, who's been reckless in recent times. Luka Modric will be leaving to AC Milan right at the end of it. But then that's with it. A similar setup by Igor Tudor and Juventus. They have Di Gregorio in the post, Kelly, Rugani, and Pierre Kalulu, who signed permanently for them at the back, making the back three. There's Thuram, Locatelli playing as a double pivot, Cambiaso at left wing back. There's Costa at right wing back, Conceição, one of the best players we've seen so far, or even Yildiz also has been a great revelation, all playing behind Randall Kolo Muani. So Messi, that's quite an entertaining setup from Juventus. Igor Tudor. Yesterday they saw one of the their colleagues from the Serie A bow out. So it means that if Juventus do not sail through, then Italy wouldn't be left with any rep in the tournament. But what do you make of the setup?
This setup is giving. They are trying to correct the mistakes from yesterday's game. They are trying to come out better. But looking at the side they are playing against Real Madrid, I don't know what their chances are, to be very honest, going into this game. But I wish them all the best. That's all I can say.
Interesting. So Juventus gradually getting onto the pitch now. They'll be facing a stern test because they're coming up against Real Madrid. Now, let me come to you first. We are looking at the 3-back system of Xabi Alonso. Very formidable during his time at Bayer Leverkusen. We saw how volatile his wing backs could be. That was Jeremy Frimpong at right wing back, and then also Grimado at left wing back. Now he doesn't have those, materials. But then at right wing back, there's relatively a better option in Trent, and then also there's Garcia at left wing back. How crucial will the setup be for them? And do you think consistently we might see Xabi Alonso set up his Madrid team this way?
I totally disagree when you say a relatively better wing back, because Trent for the past 5 seasons has been the best wing back in football. You understand? I mean, you're talking about somebody who, when you take out every inefficiency in his game, he's still going to give you an average score, and on a good day, he gives you a 9 out of 10. Not only once, not only twice, but consistently for the past 7 seasons. You understand? So he is by far better than what what's the name?
Jeremy Frimpong.
Jeremy Frimpong is and could be. You understand? Okay. That is why it is a big boot that is going to fill at Liverpool. So tactically they cancel each other out. You understand? So it then depends on who is going to interpret the rules better, right? And then you talk about the quality that each and every single player that has got. You look at the defensive pairing of Real Madrid, and they've got so much experience, right? They've got an understanding between that setup. You look at what's the name, Wilson, who was from Bournemouth. Last season he was practically one of the best centre backs in world football, who is going to be paired with Rudiger, and we all know what Rudiger comes up with. So it is about a matter of who is going to interpret the rules better. And Josiah, rightly I have indicated continuously that formations are not necessarily important, right? Because anybody at all can lay players on the pitch. But what are the instructions that you give them? What are the understanding and appreciation of the rules that you have given them? That is what wins you matches.
Interesting. All right, so that's the take of my panelists and the players already on the picture, the coin toss. So like I said, we are live, our media channel on Facebook. We're also live on TikTok and then also on YouTube. And we'll be taking your predictions. So if you join us, welcome to the watch along. It's the round of 16 game in the FIFA Club World Cup, and it looks a bit tensed. But then, interestingly, you would be wondering how these two teams, European teams, will fare under the weather in the United States of America. So that is it. Yesterday we saw two giants eliminated, and like I said, today Borussia Dortmund later on will be in action. They'll be playing against Mexican side Monterrey, led by Sergio Ramos. And imagine if Real Madrid should win this game, and Monterrey should also scale through against Dortmund. That would be some good vibes. Sergio Ramos coming up against, because there was a time he had this celebration, which meant that he called a couple of times and there was no answer from Real Madrid. But how would it be like? Let's just, at least be a bit hypothetical and assume Real Madrid are able to sail through. What sort of game would we be looking at?
Looking at Monterrey, Real Madrid, looking at them coming head to head, it would be like PSG,
Inter
and then Inter Miami.
No, yeah. I think that could be.
That would be a replica of that kind of game. Because looking at the fact that Sergio was at Real Madrid and all of that, it would be like another call up. And it would be so fun.
So we are about to kick off, and it's game 7 of the FIFA Club World Cup round of 16 stage. And Real Madrid will be kicking off. They are in their all-white attire, and Valverde continues to captain the team in the absence of Luka Modric, who is on the bench, because Luka Modric is also set to leave right after the closure of this tournament. And you're welcome again. The game will be kicking off very soon. It's as far as attendance is concerned, this is not bad. We've seen some relatively lower attendances so far in the tournament. So I believe it's not that bad. But then Real Madrid gets us going, and it's the 3-4-3 of Real Madrid against the 3-4-3 of Juventus. It's Xabi Alonso, the gaffer of Real Madrid, against Igor Tudor, the gaffer of Juventus. And so far, the teams that have qualified into the last 8, you have Palmeiras, they beat Botafogo to advance. Chelsea also knocked out Benfica. Not just that, PSG also eliminated Inter Miami. So Lionel Messi is out of the tournament as we speak. There's been wins as well for Al Hilal, Fluminense. So there's been wins for all these clubs, and interestingly, we'll get to see which team in this tournament also gets to sail through. It's Real Madrid in possession now, and I believe we would maybe get to see them, have a lion's share of the ball based on how they set up and the quality they have in midfield. Atiga.
It necessarily depends on what Real Madrid wants to do. You understand? I mean, do they want to sit possession? Because we have seen Real Madrid over the past years who do not really want to be on the ball because they have been more efficient. They have been more profound in trying to hit teams on the counter attack. But this is a new setup. This is a new a beginning altogether. So what are we going to see? Because the current coach of Real Madrid is known to hold the game. Is known to be pragmatic. So at the end of the day, I believe that it's going to be a totally different ball game altogether, where they are still going to be having the greater share of the possession.
Interesting. So Kenan Yildiz, one of the best players so far in the tournament, finds Colomwani, and Juventus are advancing in a very promising position. Back to Yildiz, who will strike, but then that ball will come off a Real Madrid player over there. Real Madrid keeping it cool at the back, not trying to be in a hurry, and they look very, very calm in possession, even in their 18-yard box. But then it would be a long night for Garcia. Is it Garcia, right? The chap playing in front for Real Madrid today, in the absence of Kylian Mbappe, who is yet to play in the tournament, and it looks like they would really want him fit for the beginning of the 2025-2026 season. So Real Madrid are in possession now. Dean Hussein, £50 million acquisition from Bournemouth. He will launch a long one, trying to reach out to Vini Jr., but then Juventus will clear infield. A little bit of a nudge over there, but then Adagula will go back to Aurelien Chouameni. So he's playing as a makeshift centre-back, not playing in his favorite CM or DM role today. But then Rudiger with the ball now to Adagula. And Real Madrid are being very, very cautious in possession. The game is yet to settle though, but you can see that the game plan is quite clear. And what was that? What's the difference? What was that distinction between Xabi Alonso and then Carlo Ancelotti? What's that thing with these two managers? Because it's the same team though, but then there should be some differences, I believe.
I think it's the pace. These people have a much calmer pace. They are sort of in control. They are pushing for it, but they are still trying to maintain, their pace. I think Xabi's side, Ancelotti's side would have been pressing forward and trying to make like major moves by now. But these people are more calmer. Maybe this is because it's new.
Okay, maybe because it's new. So Xabi Alonso still remains unbeaten as the manager of Real Madrid. They drew their first game of the tournament against Al Hilal in a game where they could have won. Federico Valverde missing a penalty in the dying embers of that game. They won their next two games. They accrued 7 points to advance, and this is their fourth game, and they are up against fellow European giants Juventus. A long ball in from Di Gregorio. Colomwani will fail to control that inside the center circle, and Real Madrid will regroup and would start another attack. A long one, but then Garcia is in an offside position. He wouldn't even attempt to get at the end of that one. Gregorio would move to Costa at the left wing back. An unforced pass would give Real Madrid possession. There's Kefrem Thuram, the younger brother of Marcos Thuram, who plays for Inter Milan. They are out of the tournament as we speak. They lost to Fluminense by 2-0. De Gregorio will find Pierre Kalulu. Manuel Locatelli in possession out. So if you're watching, it's 0-0, just 5 minutes played, and it's been fairly even, Atiga. 5 minutes, nothing threatening from either side.
Nothing threatening because you see these are fairly good teams. You understand? I mean, we are talking about two of the best teams in history. You understand? I mean, matching up against each other. And interestingly as well, these are two new coaches at the helm of So tactically, technically, these are. And you see, Real Madrid for the past couple of seasons have never played a three-back. You understand? They've never played a three-back.
But we appreciate it. Would the fans be patient for with the coach with this three-back system? Because we saw Ronald Koeman try to implement that. But Real Madrid on the ascendancy now. But then that is a chance flubbed. Vini Jr. trying to just squeeze himself into that remaining space. Unfortunately, it was well covered by Pierre Kalulu. And Juventus will begin the attack. Back to you, Atiga.
Josiah, the Real Madrid fans are not necessarily, hang on the type of football that they play. what they are most interested in is the win and the winning of trophies. You know, they are not like a Barca. They are not like fans that are fixated on the style of football. When they won the three-peat, when they won the Champions League continuously for 3 times, they were not the best teams. They were not playing beautiful football, but the fans are happy because they were winning. So that's the most important. So if the three-back is going to let them win trophies, then why complain about the style?
Interesting. Maybe we are yet to hear from the fans. Perhaps it's early days under the realm or the reigns of Xabi Alonso, who joined from Bayer Leverkusen. He won the the Bundesliga with them, but then the strength in an attacking position, he would try to check onto his left foot, but then no space for him over there. And it's Juventus who would love to break away now. Quick counter there. Colomwani, and this should be the first goal. Colomwani should score this. And Colomwani just fires that onto the roof of the net. That was onside, I believe. And that is why he has his face up. Messi, that should have been the first goal.
That should have been. It should have shot way ahead. But I don't know.
So that was the move again. The reverse pass, and that was onside, I believe. That was very close. That was very close. That was very close, and the flag stayed down. And Colomwani flapped. This gives you, the World Cup 2022 vibes. After he had that chance one-on-one with Emiliano Martinez, and he flapped. But this, any world-class striker should be scoring from that position.
I'm sure when he gets this kind of chance again, he's not going to miss.
You think it's going to come again?
You see, Messi, that's the problem that I have. You understand? Because at the highest level, the topmost strikers do not miss these chances. Because how many are you going to get? You understand? You are not playing against a lesser team. So how many chances are you going to get? You understand? So this is what makes you the best of the best. This is what made Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi the players that they are today, because they are not going to be given 2-3 chances.
They took the moment.
The first chance that they take it. You understand? So at the end of the day, you see, and it goes back to what he did in the World Cup finals. You know, because if he had taken that chance,
it would have been a different narrative.
Different narrative altogether.
Colomwani, I believe he's listening, because he's flagged the biggest chance so far, because the flag stayed down, and that would have been a legitimate goal, barring any interventions from here.
The young players, they become very complacent in big games like this.
So that was a good try. Valverde playing in his natural position for the first time in a long while. Last season in the Champions League, he was being played as a makeshift right back, and he never complained for once. Tells you about his character, and the way he's willing to put everything on the line for the club. But then that was a chance again, and too much for a dink, too much for a chip over the goalkeeper. And Colomwani, no. That's just not how you get it done over there. Maybe he lacked a bit of finesse, but then Juventus in possession. 9 minutes played in the 7th game in the round of 16 stage of the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. It's been a tournament with lots and lots of talking points. Innovations, weather conditions, affecting players adversely. Quite a lot to talk about, and it's giving us a prelude to what we should expect in the 2026 World Cup. Messi, I think. It's telling us everything we need to know.
Yeah, I do agree. It's just building the climax to that game where a lot of uncertainties are set to happen. We are not sure, which players will still want to play for their national teams.
It's a golden opportunity to play for your national team at the World Cup.
There's going to be a lot of stories about people retiring, ahead of the 2026 World Cup. But I think this has set the pace. Now we know that these are the people that are going. We know where this is coming from. New people from new territories. So there's a lot to expect, honestly. There's a lot to expect.
All right, so close to a year away from the commencement of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and this is just giving us, a feel of what we should expect. But it's Juventus now on the charge, the shot, and that nearly should have been the first goal. Kenan Yildiz from a distance, and he was trying to find the top right corner over there. But then what about that for a strike force?
It's not necessarily about a strike, but it's about the way that the Juventus midfield is able to get a ball and then see the holes between
they move so smoothly.
It is not necessarily the smoothness, but the way they were able to see the spaces. It's about being able to see the spaces that are being created.
True.
You can move smoothly, but not being able to see the spaces. You look at the chance that Colombiano got. It's all about the spaces. And you see, I can say that the defenders are not comfortable with the 3-back yet because they are not conversant with it.
So quite a lot of space has been exploited already by Juventus. They are used to the 3-back system.
Yes.
They played a couple of times under the days when they had Bonucci, Chiellini. That was a system. But then Real Madrid's quick counter will be halted. Vini Jr. has been a mere spectator inside the first 11 minutes. It's Costa at the left-hand side of the Juventus defense, who will go back, find Manuel Locatelli, who has been the primary playmaker for Juventus in this game, to Thuram. Quite an unconventional way he plays, but he's very, very effective and nearly, misses out as far as the first 11 is concerned. Now it's Conceição would move and find Kenan Yildiz. Costa. Juventus into the attacking third now, and Real Madrid will have some defending to do here. Locatelli. Back to Kenan Yildiz. We'll find Costa. Back to Manuel Locatelli. Costa. And Juventus are just comfortably stringing passes together. Kifren Thuram will spread play. Find Pierre Kalulu. Pierre Kalulu would find Kelly. And it looks like Juventus are not in a hurry. But then there's a player who needs some sort of medical attention. And that's Pierre Kalulu, the former Chelsea AC Milan player, in some sort of pain over there. But so far, so good, you would say. Juventus, they've been very, very tactical. And exactly what you should always expect from an Italian side.
What you should expect from an Italian side. But there's one thing that is very different from this Italian side, is the fact that they've taken the game to Real Madrid. Under normal circumstances, it should have been Real Madrid taking the game to them. You understand? But now they are very comfortable on the ball. Instead of them being under pressure, they're soaking the pressure. But one thing that you realize about this game is the fact that the pace of the game is very, very slow. And I don't know whether it is because of the weather or that is the tactical game plan of both coaches.
Right. So it could be attributed to a number of factors. I believe the weather should be one as well. But then that was the earlier collision. It was Pierre Kalulu. He failed to land, on the right foot there after an aerial duel with Adagula. And it looks to be fine now because that would really change a lot as far as their system is concerned. That would give
he's very pivotal in the game they are playing right now. If anything happens, it's going to worry their style of play. Exactly. They are very calm, and Real Madrid is trying to pick up the pace with their defense. In the last 2 minutes, they were trying to cover the spaces Josiah was talking about. But I don't, if this guy is out, I don't know what will happen. All
right, so Pierre Kalulu doesn't look like he's limping though, but then he's trying to see if that foot is okay. And in attendance is the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino. But he deserves some credit for this organization, I believe. Atiga, you might have your objections though.
You see, this is not a situation. I think there's going to be an opportunity.
All right, so let's see what happens. Kolo Muani inside the box of Real Madrid. He was trying to check onto his right foot further, dragging that one out of reach of the Real Madrid defender. But then Real Madrid will clear, and now it looks like Juventus are rather enjoying, some possession here. To right back, he finds Cambiaso there. Cambiaso in possession, but then will give the ball away cheaply to Dean Hussein. Finds Vini Jr. Vini Jr. will move to the left-hand side, would find Fran Garcia. Back to Garcia, Adagula. And Real Madrid have their time to also possess the ball. Trent has been quiet. He receives the ball from Chomeni. Back to Adagula. Dean Hussein. Moves to the left-hand side, finds Vini Jr. Space is covered by Juventus. They are not allowing any free space at all. Antonio Rudiger would find Adagula. Adagula to Trent. And Trent hasn't been the Trent we used to see, perhaps due to the change, of system. But then he'll be hoping to, hit the ground running at least with his very first assist over there. Dean Hussein will go wide, find Trent. Trent has space, but then also he has the approaching Costa. He'll move back to Rudiger. Real Madrid trying, to just pass the ball around, hoping to find an opening there. But then Juventus are also covering with a lot of men. A ball back to their goalkeeper. Di Gregorio will launch one forward, and Chomeni will win the duel. Knocks that one down for Antonio Rudiger to Trent. Back to Rudiger. Aurelien Tchouameni. And Vini Jr. trying to flick on that one, trying to find Gonzalo Garcia, but the Gregorio would just hit that one anywhere for now. And Real Madrid are beginning to pile some pressure on Juventus. Gradually, they are beginning to, find some 1 or 2 men in open spaces, but then nothing threatening so far from the Los Blancos. A long one, trying to pick the run of Vini Jr., but then Fran Garcia's cross is long and will be brought down by Costa. Juventus in possession now. Di Gregorio. And that looks like a wayward pass, but then it's been rescued by Kenan Yildiz. Kefren Turam. Back to Yildiz. Yildiz under pressure. 2 Madrid players on him. Just couldn't get the best out of that ball over there. And finally, Juventus are able to break free away from that pressure. Messi.
Yeah. That pressure was necessary. The game was becoming a bit slow. So more of that, more of that kind of pressure.
So hopefully Real Madrid beginning to press high. Jude Bellingham not playing as a number 10 today. He's playing as an inside number 10 because they are playing with a 3-back system. He and Vini Jr., you'd hardly see them on the wings, but in Juventus will also march forward in possession now. Conceição will move to Pierre Kalulu. He looks just fine for now after suffering that knock, but then he received some medical attention. He looks fine now, fine. And there you have Kelly. Kelly back to Kefren Turam. And a long one, finding the run of Kolomwani. And Kolomwani failed to control that. And Real Madrid in possession now. Vini Jr. has about 3 Juventus players accompanying him. And his lob pass would be intercepted. But Vini Jr. regains possession again. Vini Jr. one-on-one with Alberto. Vini Jr. Great tackle by Alberto. A bit of, some heckling over there. And Vini Jr. has been adjudged to be the culprit here. And Juventus will have a free kick.
If you see the layout of the Madrid setup, right, you realize that they are very narrow on the right side, where Jude Bellingham has tucked in. You understand? They're very, very expansive on the left side. But I thought that they should rather allow Bellingham to drop a bit back and then be expansive and then be narrow on the other flank, because Jude Bellingham is going to be in tandem with Trent. You understand? So the outlet should rather be from Trent rather than from Garcia.
The other side.
Yeah, from the other side, because you realize that Trent is better on the ball compared to the left back. So I really do not see how effective this formation is going to be, because so far we have not seen an outlet from Trent because of the way they are currently playing.
So that's interesting tactical, analysis there by Artiga, Mauli-Forza, and Locatelli, and his Juventus side will be in possession for now. 19 minutes played. Let's hear from you. Where are you watching us from, and what are your predictions for the game? Wait. Let me take your predictions first before we continue. Messi, I'll take your prediction quickly. What's your prediction for the game? It's still barring 90 minutes
predictions.
Played. Yeah.
Real Madrid 1-0 against Juventus.
Interesting. Atia, are you going with the same?
Well, I think it's going to be 2-1.
To Real Madrid?
Yeah, 2-1 Real Madrid. Or it might even be 1-1, because at this pace, I don't think like there's going to be a lot of goals, unless the pace quickens.
Interesting. All right, so both pundits are going for a win for Real Madrid, but then let's see if Juventus have got other ideas. And referee whistles for a foul, and that one is on the young Portuguese Conceição. His dad also played, for Juventus some time back, but then for Portugal rather. He played for Portugal as late as the 2000s, 2004,
the early
2000. Yes, exactly. He was also in action over there. Real Madrid with the ball now. Rudiger will move into midfield, and Jude Bellingham has dropped a bit for the first time in this game. 20 minutes played. It's the watch along our media channel, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. We're also live on TikTok. If you're watching, hit the like button. Don't forget to also subscribe, because we have more for you from the United States of America. It's the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup being played exactly a year away from the 2026 FIFA Club World Cup. No, FIFA World Cup actually, not the Club World Cup. Rudiger, heavy touch there, but he manages to recover. And Dean Hussein has been so so composed on the ball each and every time. And a long one from Valverde will find Trent, who has acres of space to advance that ball, even hit across. Trent will go back to Rudiger. Rudiger back to Trent. Gonzalo Garcia making a run into the box, but that cross from Trent, and it looks like they are trying to block the space he has to cross the ball.
And normally he used to have a lot of space.
Yeah.
Even where he is.
Is it that he's missing the runs of Mo Salah, or there's something missing?
Probably. They are not letting him advance. And I think it's hurting them.
I think that should be the issue. Trent has been quiet throughout this game, but then it's Cambiaso at the left wing back position, finds Kifran Thuram, and the game has lacked a bit of pace, in all honesty. But you can talk about, the very, very conservative approach by both coaches. Igor Tudor of Juventus, and then also Xabi Alonso, the former Bayer Leverkusen manager, who is now the man in charge of Real Madrid now. Kifran Thuram to Kelly. Kelly would find Kolomwani, a first touch back to Cambiaso. Now it's Yildiz. Yildiz trying to skip past Valverde, but Valverde will tuck his leg in there and get out on that. But then Vini Jr. has been released, and Pierre Kalulu will just go down and tackle and win that ball, and Juventus will regain possession. And they are struggling to find the runs of Vini Jr.
They're not necessarily struggling to find the runs. He's not making the runs. You understand? Because for you to be able to play in this setup, you will have to make a lot of runs. You understand? And he is not used to that. What Vini is used to is being given the ball for him to drive the ball.
Yeah.
And there's a vast difference between.
There should be a chance for Juventus. The header, but then straight into the waiting arms of Thibaut Courtois. That's Francisco Conceição there, and with even that diminutive, structure of his, he managed to be the one to win that header in the presence of the likes of Rudiger and Cole. But then that wasn't threatening enough. But then that is the game's first shot on target.
Yes. So as I was saying, when you have a player like Trent Alexander-Arnold in your team, you don't necessarily have to be expectant of the ball. The balls will always go into spaces. So if you really can understand and anticipate where the passes are going to be, then you will have a lot of chances.
Right, so Trent has been limited so far. Vini Jr. limited. Jude Bellingham has been AWOL. He's gone AWOL for a while. And Real Madrid haven't really seen their key or best players actually come to the party. But early days are yet in this game. Round of 16 game, 24 minutes played, and it's Real Madrid in possession with Fran Garcia to Rudiger. Trent again has space. Can he get that one? Yes, he gets at the end of that one, but will return the ball to Rudiger. Rudiger would go back and find Dean Hussein. A lovely skill from Dean Hussein back to Trent at the right-hand side. Real Madrid gradually, encroaching the attacking third, and that's the defensive third of Juventus. Back to Dean Hussein. Scored some spectacular goals for Bournemouth in the Premier League last season. And guess what? He played for Juventus B. That's the Juventus Next Gen after he left. And that's a shot from Aurelien Tchouameni, and Gregorio will just have his fingertips, tip that one over the line. But then that's a bit lethargic, a bit of a deflection there. But then De Gregorio taking no chances at all, and it's a corner to Real Madrid. And what can they make? But then you talk about the legends, you talk about the Juventus and Italian legend, and Chiellini, you just can't omit his name. This guy, you remember when Mourinho spoke about the fact that if you want to, lecture about defending, even in Harvard, then you need these two.
Of course. You see, Josiah, from the early 21st century, right? If you are defining what defensive football should be, it should be about these players, because they really put into play what defensive play should be. And you see, that is why it has always been an Italian team. You understand? Because they have over the past years defined and redefined what defensive football should be, and not necessarily defensive football, but they've gone on to win trophies with their defensive style of football. Remember that they've now won 4 World Cups, right?
Yeah,
and we've always criticized them for being defensive, but they continue to win.
Interesting. So that's the Italians we are talking about, and just in a flash was Juventus legend Chiellini, how many Euros he won? A Euro. He also won the World Cup with Italy in 2006. But then Vini Junior will strike one from distance. Deflection there, but referee says no. That ball came off no one, no Juventus player, and it will be a goal kick to Juventus. It's still goalless. It's barren here. 26 minutes played, and this is not a tempo you'd rather expect from two huge European giants. I think we really enjoyed the game between Botafogo and then also Palmeiras. The first round of 16 games.
You would have to understand them. You understand, because they
is
are
the weather the
accustomed-
factor again?
No, they are accustomed to. You see, Josiah, you cannot take the weather out of the equation,
That's
you
Sami
understand?
Khedira over the Real Madrid legend. There are quite a number of legends in attendance.
Yeah.
Sami Khedira played for Real Madrid under Jose Mourinho, left for Juventus. So he's played for both teams, Sami Khedira. But then this is Yildiz, lovely skill over there. Would find Cambiaso, will check that one into the box. And the intervention, timely from Aurelien Tchouameni to win Juventus the corner. But that was a dangerous ball into the box.
That was very dangerous.
But have you realized that both FIFA and UEFA have always found a way to integrate former players into their setup?
You hardly see how, you hardly find out how to get it done, but you always get it done.
So if you realize that the outsiders that come into play are very few, and that is what I really want to see when it comes to CAF. You understand? I mean, the connoisseurs of the game, those who have played the game, who understand
should be associated
the game,
with it now.
should be involved in running our football.
Interesting. So Real Madrid on the counter attack, just a long ball over there, and the frustration. Adegula trying to find his teammate there. Real Madrid trying, nearly breaking away quickly, but then Kenan Yildiz, quick feet over there, and the cross from Cambiaso, dangerous one, pinpoint right into the 6-yard box. And Koulibaly was lurking behind Tchouameni, but just couldn't get his foot to that one. And Juventus will restart play here. It's still barring 28 minutes played. If you are watching, we are live. It's the watch-along live commentary as well as in-depth analysis and everything you would want to know from the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. And it's Juventus now in possession. Possession lost again. Rudiger recovered that ball. Would find Dean Hussein, who's been so comfortable. He's yet to panic, since he joined Real Madrid in any game at all. What a lad he's been. And he's really going to play for a long time.
He can play for a long time. He might not be able to play for a long time, depending on what happens to him injury-wise. You understand? You see, most of the times when they get to this level, they tend to relax a bit, especially from their entourage. Because when they get to Real Madrid, when they get to the biggest clubs, their entourage increases. So most of the time, if you have people who can advise you very well, especially when it comes to how you take care of yourself, then you can have a long-lasting career at the highest level.
Interesting. So some advice for Dean Hussein, £50 million acquisition from Bournemouth. Just one season at the club, and whenever he scores, he hits you with the chill guy celebration as well. A long one to Trent, who isn't the best of dribblers, so he will definitely check back onto his left foot like he's always done in the game, and Trent will move a bit narrow. Would find Jude Bellingham, one threaded into space for... Oh, that should nearly have been the first goal when Jude Bellingham fluffed that from close range. Real Madrid should have taken the lead over there. Chance, big one falling to Jude Bellingham after his teammate and captain Valverde teed him up in the box. But unfortunately, Di Gregorio, and that's why sometimes you need a reliable goalkeeper.
Well, true.
So far, still barring 30 minutes played over here. Weather conditions are almost calm and cool for football. None of the teams are complaining, so it means that it looks okay. Atmosphere, not pretty charged though, but then capacity of the stadium almost full to its brim. And Juventus have lost the ball in a dangerous position. And Vini Junior has been brought down by Costa. Conceição is the culprit over there. Locatelli will try and protest by referee having none of it. Vini Junior been a bit quiet, but that was a good way to win a free kick in a very promising area. And that was the earlier chance. Goalkeeper going down at the right time, didn't he? Sorry. And just look at that. That was a point blank save. Yeah.
So close.
And the lad over there was on the podium for the Ballon d'Or last year. Hopefully, I doubt he would make it this year.
Oh, he can, you understand, depend on what he's able to do. You see, we were complaining about the weather conditions, right? We've got to the water break.
There's a water break on the 30th minute mark, so it tells you it's a bit hot.
The
weather is still very active.
Yeah, so, but you see, one thing I've noticed about this game is that Trent Alexander-Arnold has not been able to pull in his crosses because the Madrid setup do not have the physicality up front like Liverpool used to have. You understand?
The pressing game.
The pressing game, and even if the crosses go in, who is it going to be intended for? You understand? So he would have to readjust his game. Even if he's going to whip in the crosses, then it should be I think cutbacks, right?
Instead of crosses instead
of crosses, unless they get a center forward who has got that physicality about him, because they had that in Liverpool.
Exactly.
But with Real Madrid, you don't get it from Vinicius, you don't get it from Rodrigo, you're not going to get it from Kylian Mbappe. So the crosses would have to be intended for somebody, which is not going to happen.
Interesting. So it's a water break, 32 minutes played. Some Real Madrid fans displaying the banners and stickers of Cristiano Ronaldo, who is far away in Saudi, no part to play in this FIFA Club World Cup. But then earlier on, the chants from Colomani. But if you were Trent, Messi, would you be worried? Because all of a sudden you switch sides and it looks like you're struggling to do what you are being known to do best.
I still think it's too early for him. He needs to blend into the team. He needs to find his own pace. You know, for the fact that he's not going to get that formation at Real Madrid, he needs to find his own pace and how to displace the ball anytime he gets it, so that he doesn't become like he's not producing results. He needs to find a place to always turn, his play to. Because if he continues like this, the fans will descend on him. Real Madrid, even though the fans, they can descend on you, they can. And looking at, how they normally do to Vinicius and the likes, they might descend on him if he doesn't pick up.
Isn't it too early?
It is. That's what I'm saying. So he should quicken up the pace and then find it before, All
right, so our play will resume now. Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's been very, very quiet, but he has been by far the best right back in the last couple of years in Europe. But then there's a free kick about 25 yards out, closer to the left-hand side of or the right-hand side of the Juventus defense, about 10 yards away from. And this is a perfect opportunity. And Trent, Trent could fancy his chance, to swing that one in, at least for a teammate to connect. So Real Madrid with an offensive free kick. Trent swings one in. Who is getting at the end of that one? The Gregorio will just leap and grab that one comfortably, and Juventus will look to break away. But then referee whistles for an infringement on Cambiaso, who has been decent at the left wing back position. And Adagula, he's also not playing in an attacking position. He's been paired with Valverde in midfield. Quite some tweaks over there by Xabi Alonso.
The tweak is actually between Jude Bellingham and Adagula. Under normal circumstances, Bellingham should have been the defensive midfielder paired with Valverde, so that they can bomb forward and bomb back. But then Adagula would have to play as a central number 10, but it's rather shifted him to pair with Valverde. I think that is because of his understanding of pace and the way he's quickens the pace. So that is why I think that he's brought him to pair. But I doubt if this is how he's going to play over the course of the season, because I really do not think it's going to work. You understand? If you station Jude Bellingham as a number 10, it's not going to work either, because you would have to allow him the freedom to go forward and then come back. You understand? And that is what has worked for him over the past 2 years at Madrid.
Interesting. It's Cambiaso in possession, left-hand side for Juventus. Locatelli would find his teammate Pierre Kalulu. To Costa. Back to Kelly. Now Locatelli. Take a couple of steps forward. Would tread that one into space for Cambiaso. Cambiaso one-on-one with Trent. The cross into the box, but then it just moves over the heads of both players, sets of players there. And Juventus will recover that loose ball again. Locatelli. To Pierre Kalulu. Pierre Kalulu. To Costa. Back to Consensao. Consensao losing possession over there, not with the right control there to win it. A bit of a heckling over there, and referee whistles for a foul for Real Madrid. Foul on Alberto Trent Alexander-Arnold. And you can talk about everything in this game, but not the right intensity for the game. It's been quite lethargic from both sets of teams, and you're wondering if there would ever be a goal in this game, Messi.
I think because of the formations both of the teams are playing.
Are they cancelling each other?
Yeah, yes, very much. When you see that these people are making an effort, these people will just come and then try to silence it. And then it just keeps going back and forth, because I think they are all trying to find their pace, playing the formations that they have today. And it's going to be difficult. It may even go goalless into the second half.
Interesting. But you still stand by your prediction?
I'm
you are not going to water it, so no, you are not changing it until maybe the second half begins. So Real Madrid with a corner here, a chance for them to see if they can break the deadlock. Trent on set-piece duties this evening in this game. Chouameni, one of the tall guys. Rudiger, another one of the lanky guys. You'll be hoping Real Madrid will be hoping to get at the end of that one. Corner taking shot. Trent will move into space. Find Adagula. Adagula will throw one in, and nearly a goal over there. Chouameni, and that reaction tells you that he was expecting to make a touch. Hussein also lurking at the far side, but then also couldn't connect, and another chance goes begging for Real Madrid.
We may have to see a lot of this until I don't know when.
But you see, Josiah, one thing that the back three of Madrid would have to take into consideration is the fact that Madrid have always had central defensive players who are very good goal scorers. You understand? From Pepe to Sergio, they've had very good defensive players who score goals. You understand? And Rudiger is known for scoring goals. You understand? So Huersin and Chouameni now playing as defensive partners would have to incorporate that into their game, because there are times where in the dying embers of the game you need goals from every facet of the field, and this is something that they would have to start doing.
Interesting. So Real Madrid 0, Juventus 0 over here, and it's the live commentary watch along our media channel, live on YouTube, live on Facebook. We are also live on TikTok, so you can send in your predictions. It's still barring here, so it's quite easy for you to predict. Messi has predicted a 1-0 win for Real Madrid. Force says it's a 2-1 win for Real Madrid. I'm keeping my prediction until the 90th minute. Then I would divulge it. Trent Alexander-Arnold in possession for Real Madrid, and you can see Rudiger asking for some urgency. He believes they've been so laid back, and there's nothing threatening from the Los Blancos. But then one pass breaks about 2 lines over there, and there's a bit scruffy there. Juventus will regain possession with Locatelli, the captain of the side. Finds Cambiaso, who will search for it a bit. Back to Kefren Turam, who's been missing for the past 20 minutes or so. We've not really seen any action of Kefren Turam. Back to Kelly. Kelly would find his teammate, Cambiaso. Cambiaso will switch to Pierre Kalulu. Pierre Kalulu trying to find Consensao, but that pass wouldn't go through. A bit of a heckling over there, and the referee believes that is a foul against Frank Garcia, and that foul is on Consensao. Quite 2 players of the same height, engaging in some tussling over there. A bit, physical, combative by Frank Garcia on Consensao, and this chap also, he's been, quite.
It's been good.
A talented player to watch.
You see, you can be very good, you can be very talented, right? But if the coach doesn't have so much belief in you, it's going to be difficult for you to flourish. Do you understand? So sometimes it's just a matter of being given the opportunity and exposure to show what you've got. And if he's given the opportunity to play in this setup, it means that during the regular season, he should also be given the opportunity to display what he's got to do.
All right, so it's been quite boring, should be the word in inverted commas, but it's been quite a boring as compared to the games we've witnessed so far in the round of 16 stage. So 2 more places up for grabs. One of these 2 teams will definitely make it into the round of 8, but referee whistles for play to continue, instructs play to continue, and it's the Juventus striker on the turf now. He's up. Kolomwani is up, and Real Madrid would love to break away. Vidi Jr. Being policed by Pierre Kalulu would go back and find Dean Hussein to Aurelien Tchouameni, Federico Valverde, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Real Madrid are gradually building up this attack at a very slow pace, though. Tchouameni into midfield would find Adagula, Vidi Jr. And it looks like Real Madrid have got, Juventus have got all, the wide spaces covered with a lot of players over there. You can count about 4 players, doing justice to Vidi Jr. And they believe that's where the other threat could come from. Now to Trent. Trent will move infield to Rudiger. No space for Rudiger to hit, those rockets he used to hit. But then one-on-one situation there, but then Fran Garcia will return back, to his captain. Adagula, Rudiger, Dean Hussein has an eye for a good pass there to Fran Garcia, who's at the left wing back position. Back to Dean Hussein. 41 minutes played here, and it's still barring between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. Gonzalo Garcia nearly damming his way through the Juventus defense, but Kefren Turam would just, handle that ball with care, and Real Madrid would lose possession now to Juventus. Kelly, Cambiaso into midfield, the 1-2 between himself and Locatelli. Lovely ball, and Kefren Turam will break away, skips past Rudiger. Rudiger will still chase him down and recover that lost space. The cross into the box, header out, and Locatelli with that visionary pass all the way to Kefren Turam on the left-hand side. Flag will stay down, and Juventus will gradually pick the pieces and begin to attack again. Kenan Yildiz to Locatelli. Locatelli back to Kefren Turam. Kenan Yildiz. Manuel Locatelli. And you talk about both teams having their moments, and it's been there, but nothing threatening.
Nothing.
From both teams, Messi.
Yes, so Juventus is very hard on the defense, but they don't seem to push forward early enough to make it. Because anytime, someone takes the ball and is heading to make a score, there's no person over there to hold that end. And I think that defensive play is still very much in play. And anytime Real Madrid also takes it up, they also defend it very well. So it's very much still in a balance.
Defending and attacking in the loop for these two sides. Intermittently, we find either team on the ascendancy, then the other team defending. Then they swap places just minutes later, and that's what we're witnessing here. Quite, a dull game by all standards. 15-time UEFA Champions League winners coming up against 2-time champions of the UEFA Champions League, Juventus. So between these two sides, you have 17 UEFA Champions League titles and nothing to show for it in the first 44 minutes of this game. Trent with the ball will move infield, find Adagula. Adagula will just, have a couple of touches, but then Aurelien Tchouameni will recover possession. Dean Hussein, and gradually Real Madrid are pinning Juventus, to their own box, and Vidi Jr. will lose that, and Dean Hussein nearly losing possession in a dangerous area, which could have been a quick counter for Juventus, but then Real Madrid regained possession again. Real Madrid in possession now at the left-hand side of attack. It's Adagula to Jude Bellingham, back to Tchouameni, back to Adagula. A long switch to Trent Alexander-Arnold. He has space to cross that one. He does, but then the Juventus defense will get the job done, and it is Cambiaso who would clear that one into touch, and Real Madrid have got a corner kick, and there's still nothing. I doubt any of these teams will score even before recess. A long one to Adagula, will control that with his chest. Oh, lovely ball, to skip past the Juventus defender. He sends one in, and that was dangerous. You talk about being dangerous, on attack, but then a lovely ball, just one tailored, ball over Cambiaso, and Adagula in possession again. Throw-in quickly effected by Real Madrid. They are still, charged up a bit for the final minutes of this game. 4 minutes of added on time we were doing here in the first half, and if no one scores, that will be buying, but the long shot, and that was another amazing save by Di Gregorio to deny Real Madrid the lead, and it was Federico Valverde for about 35 yards out, and that was some rocket over there.
I doubt if there's something special that players do to train how to take shots. You understand? Because apart from Roberto Carlos, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, Valverde is another player that I think has got that shot power. And when you look at the stature that he's got with the kind of shots that he's able to release, they do not match. They do not match at all.
Interesting. So those are some great players, who can hit the ball very well.
Who can hit the ball very well. And I consider Valverde a part of them.
Interesting. Maybe you might mention Mason Greenwood as well. They have this venom. Whenever they hit the ball, there's some sort of...
With so much power.
There's something behind the ball. You do not know where it's coming from. There's so much power. Adriano, maybe one of them.
Adriano is the master of it. You understand?
Yeah.
I mean, he hits the ball with so much pace, with so much verve. You understand? And it's just a pity Adriano did not get to the top of his game.
Interesting. So 6 attempts at goal for Real Madrid so far. 2 coming from Valverde, 1 coming from Jude Bellingham, which was on target, but then just couldn't find the back of the net. And both teams still struggling here with intensity, and both teams also being extremely cautious. But Vini Jr. will still keep possession, but then loses that ball cheaply. And you're thinking, that Real Madrid is going to revert to the 4-back system. Is there a likelihood?
They might have to, because if they play 4 consecutive games with this 3-back system and they finally figure out that this is not going to work, they may have to change it.
When Conte came to Chelsea, right? He wanted to follow the status quo. You understand? He played the 4-3-3 system.
Yeah.
He lost. I think he lost the
first 2. No, he went without a win in the first 3.
In the first 3.
In the first 3, then he had to. No. Let me go back. Yeah.
What made him stick with the 4-3-3 system is the fact that the players were complaining about the workload in the 3-back system. But he said that no, if we have to win, we have to do it my way.
Exactly.
And they changed to the 3-back system and one day win.
And funny enough, this is the same manager who has won the Scudetto with Napoli without playing the 3-back system.
So as a coach, you would have to metamorphosize. What players have you got at your disposal? They would have to understand.
There should be a chance. Trent Alexander-Arnold would turn one into the box. That was a huge shot into the box, but then no one there to defend or to just tap that one in. And Juventus, they've been fairly good in defense, and this is one of Trent's qualities. And for the first time in the game, we've seen him.
Yes, for the first time.
These are the spaces that
advanced.
You see, he would have to get into the spaces to be able to tread in those passes. You understand?
Right, so no one to use as a decoy for Trent, and that's becoming a problem for him because they are playing with a 3-back system, and he is the only player who finds himself at that point. But in 15 seconds to go over here, it's still 0-0. Trent with the ball now, and the last chance for him to whip something, but then he decides to go short, and the referee could be blowing his whistle any moment from now. Trent with the ball again, space for him to attack, and with the outside of his boots, would just send one in, but then that should be dangerous, and that could be the end of the first half, and rightly so, the referee whistles for the end of a less entertaining, very lethargic, very dull first half in the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. So halftime here, it's Real Madrid 0, Juventus 0. We are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are also live on TikTok. I'm still here with Messi and then also Force, and it's we've entertained ourselves, but nothing entertaining about this game. Messi, nothing entertaining.
Nothing electric about this game.
Well, I might differ, you understand, because if you're watching the game as a sport, as a fan, you might say that it's not entertaining. That is fine. But when you're watching the game from a tactical perspective, you realize that both teams have been very great, understanding their role, trying to cancel each other out. You see, the Madrid setup is wary of a Juventus attack, you understand? And then the Juventus setup is also wary of what Real Madrid is capable of doing on the counter. So from the tactical perspective, I would say that it's been a fantastic game, but from a fan's perspective, I would say that it's not been a great game.
Okay, so tactically he believes it's been
I think they are being too careful, like he's saying, in the layman's way, they are being too careful because they know what each person can do. And this is the case where they are all playing three back. So everybody knows that when it's on, it's on. You have to defend. When it's on your side, you have to go all in. And that's what everybody is doing. So until they find a way to break through and then score one goal, I think that's where the tension go up from there. So let's look for that one goal. It may end in just a goal. When that goal comes, I think we may decide, from there where the game is going to. But for now, I don't know.
But based on what we've seen in the first half, which of these two teams would you say have been the better, as far as chances created is concerned? Because it's been there's nothing to separate them, with goals. But then as far as being dangerous, creating the best chances, which team would you give that to?
Real Madrid are not playing an impressive game, but they've created very notable chances, especially up to the last minutes of the game. I think they've created more chances than Juventus in this first half of the game. So I think Real Madrid has a higher chance when we are looking at, probability of who is going to win, looking at the chances created. So I think Real Madrid has it for now. All
right, so halftime in the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus in the FIFA Club World Cup. 6 spots have been grabbed already by teams, and there's 2 more. But then for now, it's that battle between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. It's been 0-0, quite pragmatic from both teams. It's been very, very cagey from both coaches, and there's still nothing to separate them. But I think what should we be looking at in the second half? What are the tactical tweaks? We've spoken a lot about Real Madrid, but then Colomwani after squandering, and we spoke about the fact that you hardly get a lot of such chances in a game. So sometimes you need to be clinical at every single point in time. But Colomwani flapped a glorious chance, which could have seen Juventus take the lead in the game.
Well, before I start, I don't want this to become a long day. You understand? I mean, probably going into extra time, it's going to be a long day. But the second half is going to, you see, funny enough, the second half is going to be the same thing. You understand? The only thing that is going to change the complexity of the game is when we have an early goal from either side. Yeah. Then the tempo will be up, or there will be tactical tweaks or personnel. So for now, what I emphasize from both coaches, because so far they've been content with what they've seen. You understand? So there's not necessarily going to be any major haul. There's not going to be any tactical changes. But barring the fact that if anything goes down, right, then the complexity, then the whole dynamics of the game is going to change, unless that team is willing to go out of the tournament. But I really do not see anything changing.
All right, so it's halftime now. We'll be going for recess, and we'll definitely be back for the second half of the game between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. It's the FIFA Club World Cup watch along and live commentary here on the Our Media channel. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook. We are also live on YouTube. We'll be right back for the second half of this game. All right, so welcome back to the studios of our media. Is the watch along and then also commentary for the game in the round of 16 stage of the FIFA Club World Cup between Real Madrid and then also Juventus. It was quite, a calm first half, nothing really to talk about. Just a couple of chances falling to the attackers of both teams. Jude Bellingham, one from close range, and then also Randall Colomwani also fluffing one in the early stages of the game. Beside that, nothing really to talk about. No cuts as well, and so both sets of teams have been very, very disciplined. But then it's now Juventus very, very early inside the second half trying to make something happen. But that ball has been cleared. Vini Jr. will try to spread play, and that's just too long for his teammate Valverde to get at the end of, and Juventus will regain possession again. A long one from the Gregorio, and Juventus would lose the ball to Real Madrid. So like I said, we are live on Facebook, we are live on TikTok, our media group, and then also we are live on YouTube, our media channel. Let us hear from you. Where are you calling? Oh, sorry, where are you texting or watching from? Because we are keeping you updated as far as this game is concerned. And then subsequently, also other games we'll be bringing to you live commentary. But that was nearly the opener. Federico Valverde on the half volley, hitting that one across the face of goal. That was a half chance. Jude Bellingham just, trying his best to just bring that one down for Federico Valverde, and the Gregorio, no chance at all. Not even a dive from him. But I'm still here with Messi and then also Atiga Maoli Falls. Messi, first half, yes, limited talking points, few chances falling to both sides. But then it looks like the second half is just going to be a stark contrast of what we witnessed in the first half, especially looking at the intensity from both teams.
Yeah, this is the intensity we wanted in the first half, but I'm glad they are bringing their A game on, and we need just a goal to set the pace. We need a goal to kick everything in motion. So let's hope for one from either sides. At this point, we need it from wherever it may come from. We are cool. The goal will set the pace. So that's what we are looking for.
So the goal sets the pace, and the neutrals are getting bored now. And even with Messi's prediction that Real Madrid will win by a goal to 0, now she believes that a goal can come from anywhere. So let's just hope that there's a goal at least, to set the stage and the atmosphere alive. A long one from deep for Real Madrid. Rudiger will try. And there's this misunderstanding between Rudiger and then also Courtois. Courtois will head that one. He's out of his box. He would run back again. Kefren Turam with the ball now finds Kenan Yildiz. Kefren Turam still in possession. Ball into the box, but then it's deflected off a Real Madrid player, and Juventus would have a corner kick. But then, what about that? That could have nearly resulted in,
what was that confusion?
I don't know. Yeah, that was some miscommunication.
I thought the goalkeeper shouldn't have come. Because you should have been in your safer zone, and then your last defender heads the ball to you. But so far as you come out of the box, you make it ineligible for you to catch the ball. Interesting.
So that was a moment of miscommunication, a moment of chaos there between Rudiger and then also his goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, nearly resulting in an error by Real Madrid. But Kefren Turam with the ball now. Will he tread one? Yes, he does. And Juventus are in a position to get a first goal here, but then the ball played towards the back of Colomwani. Flag goes up, and this is respite and relief for Real Madrid. But the intensity we keep talking about, and that was it. Very, very tight. So close.
Very close. And you see, it's all about the change of pace of the game. You understand? I mean, they were able to quickly, shift the ball. And this is what we want to see from both sides. You understand? I mean, the way they are able to transition the ball, the way they are able to move the ball quickly, that will inject much more pace and speed into the game.
Right. So we've seen more action in the first 4 minutes of the second half than the entirety of the first half. And now is the 10 of Real Madrid with Vini Jr. trying to, wriggle his way around the ball, who fought kindly to Trent, and he would blast that one over the bar for Real Madrid. And this is what we want to see. End-to-end stuff already inside the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Yeah. This is fun. This is the excitement we're looking for in the first half. And yes, we are here for it all.
So Kylian Mbappe amongst the players warming up for Real Madrid. There's also the 39-year-old Luka Modric. He never ages a day. and Xabi Alonso will be on the touchline, issue some commands. There are Real Madrid fans who will still cheer on their side, hoping that they can sail into the last 8 of the competition. It's a goal kick. Juventus will be effecting that one through their goalkeeper, Di Gregorio. A long one inside. There's a tussle between Kolomwani and then also Antonio Rudiger. Kolomwani trying to get ahead of Dean Hussein, who would clear that one, taking no chances at all. And Rudiger should be careful. He's really losing a lot of the duels with Kolomwani. Juventus have got a corner now, and you just believe this is what the game plan for both coaches changed, and the pep talk is really beginning to manifest. But then there's a corner for Juventus. Kenan Yildiz, the number 10 shirted player for Juventus, will be taking that one. Real Madrid with every single player in the box to defend that one. The long one, but who gets at the end of that is Dean Hussein of Real Madrid. He heads that one out. Then Jude Bellingham will return the ball again, and Real Madrid have broken away, and it's a quick counter-attack. It's Vini Jr. He has space in front of him. Vini Jr. checks onto his left foot, and that was a timely intervention over there by Juventus. And another silly ball, excuse my language, by Conceição, but then that was a chance, and it looks like both teams are resorting to the quick counter, and Vini Jr. nearly punishing Juventus for that one. Locatelli intervening.
Yes, this is what we want to see. The quickness of everything. Take it, push forward. Take it, push forward. When it's time to defend, you defend. Initially, they were all stalling. Everybody was just stalling because I think their set pieces are very similar. So they were all stalling.
All right, so ball into the box. That was a dangerous one by the youngster Arda Güler, the Turkish international. But then it's been cleared. And Jude Bellingham will strike one. He checks onto the right foot, the shot, and another great save by Di Gregorio. He goes down early and he just palms that one away. And Real Madrid are asking questions now. And Jude Bellingham and his teammates are turning on the heat. Now, ball still in possession. Real Madrid with a chance now all the way to the right-hand side. Trent and Jude will just have a feel of that ball. Jude Bellingham now in possession. And, just in the space of seconds, it looks like the tempo drops from 100 to 0. But then Real Madrid still with some intent over here. Vini Jr. one-on-one with Pierre Kalulu. Vini Jr. will cross one into the box. No one to head it out. Dean Hussein with a shot. Another low save by Di Gregorio. And in the space of 2 minutes, he's been forced into low saves. And just look at that from a distance. That was spectacular.
There's something I have noticed about this Madrid team. When they want to pick it up, they pick it up. You understand? When they want to turn the heat over, they turn the heat over. And like you rightly indicated, the first 5 minutes, the first 7 minutes in the second half has been the stark contrast to what we've seen in 45 minutes in the first half. And I just want to see goals flow, because with this kind of pace, with this kind of football, it is just right that what we see goals in the game.
Interesting. So now it's Real Madrid's turn to ask the questions. Do Juventus have the answers to it? The header out of the box by Kelly, and Jude Bellingham will swing it another one. The header, and that is the opener for Real Madrid. And who else but their youngster? And it's Gonzalo Garcia with his third goal of the tournament. And what a tournament he's having. No Kylian Mbappe, no problem. The youngster rises to the occasion and knocks home the Jude Bellingham cross, and Real Madrid are in front. So it's Real Madrid to have a game on our hands.
My prediction may be coming to pass. Because
you
with this game,
confident.
Yes, with this goal scored, it's going to be difficult now, because Real Madrid are now going to put a lot of pressure on them. They're going to make sure that they don't get past They're going to make sure that they don't get past, their box. They don't get past the 18 box to make any advances. So this is going to be a tough match now.
Interesting. So that was Trent with a cross into the box.
Very beautiful.
And so we've spoken about Trent being limited, and all of a sudden in the second half he bumps forward for once, and he produces a moment of quality.
The moment of quality has always been with him, you understand? But it's about finding the right spaces where you can get into the pocket of spaces and then try the passes. When you see, with this type of football, when it's further behind, you understand? I mean, the passes are not going to be flowing like It has to be. But when it gets into advanced position, then it becomes easier for him to find the pockets. And remember that Garcia is the shortest among the people who could have jumped onto that ball. But it is the pinpoint cross of Trent that was able to find a specific player. That is what they would have to continue doing.
Interesting. So, game on our hands now. Real Madrid, they have their noses in front. 55 minutes played, and Juventus are trailing here. Kefren Turam with the ball. And could this spark a quick response from Juventus because they've been lethargic at some point? We saw them, threatening in the second half. But Kefren Turam will get that one. Will play on to Kalulu. And the left shot from Conceição.
That's no one.
But Thibaut Courtois will be up to the task at that point. And Real Madrid will break away quickly. A long one into space for Gonzalo Garcia, the goal scorer. He already has 3 goals in this tournament. Vini Jr., the spaces. Players are waiting to attack that one. And that pass wouldn't go through. And this is exciting to watch. And Gonzalo, Frank Garcia will foul Conceição and breathing space for Juventus.
Yeah.
But then there's a player who needs some attention here. But this is what you want to see. And we spoke about the fact that a goal for either side would actually end up, bringing the best out of the other.
Yes. Because now you either force yourself to win the game or force yourself to defend your position. So everybody is on the line now. Even though Real Madrid is in the lead, they are not safe because now Juventus is pressing forward. They are making all the necessary advances. So right now, everybody is hanging. And this is the excitement that we wanted.
Interesting. So something the game has lacked from the first half, and now it's already putting everyone at the edge of their seats. But does that play into the hands of Real Madrid, taking the lead, and now we know how dangerous they are on the counter? Especially when you have Vini Jr., you would always be dangerous. But then that was the save from Gregorio moments before the goal. Hussein also drawing one from the goalkeeper before eventually that goal came. And just look at that leap.
Both teams have been good on the counter attack, but just that Real Madrid have created the more cleaner chances of the two. You understand? They've been able to take advantage of one of the chances. And you see, football is all about chances and scoring goals. You can create a host of chances, but if you are not able to convert the chances, then it's as useless as it is. But if you are able to create the chances and then you take them, then that is where the effectiveness of your chances would be counted for.
Interesting. It's Real Madrid now with possession. Jude Bellingham inside the center circle. Lovely control under pressure there. Frank Garcia will be forced back by Conceição. Would find his goalkeeper, Thibaut Courtois. Arda Güler. Federico Valverde would spread play to the right-hand side. Finds Trent. And Real Madrid do not seem to be in a hurry now because they have their noses in front. 58 minutes played, and it's still live commentary on the Our Media channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Tap share if you're on TikTok. If you're on Facebook, you can also like, comment with your final scoreline, your predictions. We would want to hear from you and where you are also listening or watching from. Real Madrid still in possession. Now they feel confident after the goal. Tchouameni to Trent. Back infield to Arda Güler. Lovely first touch, but that just wasn't controlled enough. And Vini Jr. will have his chance. With the outside of his boot, ball will be cleared by the Juventus defense. A bit of heckling over there. Will the referee blow his whistle? Yes, he does. And Rudiger, this is what you expect from him sometimes. This is a very, very good foul. And Juventus are ready in a change. Nico Gonzalez will be thrown into the fray. And this could mean a change in setup for them. Because Kelly, who was playing as a centre-back or one of the 3 centre-backs, will be making way for the midfielder and attacker, Gonzalez, over there. And Juventus looks like they are going to approach the remaining minutes with some intent over there. And also Francisco Conceição. He's not been bad himself. No, he's had some good chances. He's had some good moments. And he's also been replaced by Filip Kostic, who is going to operate from the left-hand side. So it looks like fairly or relatively the same system because like-for-like replacements have been thrown in. But it's a free kick now for Juventus. They will go shot. Kefren Turam. still in possession. Kevin Turam. A couple of turns and he would find his teammate Cambiaso on the left-hand side. Juventus still in possession. Now Juventus will look to break away, but then that ball will be halted in its tracks. And now it's time for Vini Jr. to unleash some speed over there. Checks onto the right foot, the header, the ball, and that was another spectacular hit. And this time as the captain of Real Madrid, Fede Valverde with an acrobatic effort there, drawing a crucial save. Just look at that. That would have been a world-class finish.
That would have been a very beautiful goal.
Just look at that. And so Real Madrid have themselves a corner. They are in the lead, but then they are still in search of the cushion. And Fede Valverde, he is the heir apparent to Toni Kroos, and he's really getting the job done. Not like Toni Kroos with the passes, but then he also has been molded in his own, form. But it's a corner to Real Madrid. Juventus have some defending to do. Trent behind the ball to whip that one in, and the referee will signal temporary hold up now, but then play will resume again. Real Madrid with the corner. Trent, can he produce another magical moment again? He set up Gonzalo Garcia for Madrid's first and only goal of the game. The corner into the box, but then palmed away by Di Gregorio, and Valverde will find Adagule, shot ball into the box, but cleared away, and Juventus would still have more defending to do. Trent Alexander-Arnold finds himself at an unusual position at the left-hand side of defense, but will switch quickly back to his right-hand side. Tchouameni, Trent, back to Tchouameni, Adagule, Rudiger, Dean Hussein. And that's not the sort of pressing game you would really want from a team that's down, because Juventus are playing with a mid-block. And Real Madrid will give the ball away cheaply, but then that ball will come off Cambiaso last, and Igor Tudor would have some thinking to do here.
Yeah.
Messi, what do you think should be done? What should he be doing? Now he's made 2 substitutions.
Yeah.
You're thinking, he's trying to counter whatever they have, bring in fresh limbs, fresh energy, but what needs to be done by this team?
What needs to be done is, the ability to press forward. They have not been able to go past, the middle line.
Yeah.
They've not been able to go past it in like 5 minutes now. And Real Madrid is very hard on them. Anytime they get a ball, they just take it from them. Anytime they get it, they are pressing forward. And these people are not seeing it. They are not making any advances. I don't know what, pep talks they've had or what has changed about their style of play, but they are not either defending too. I've not seen any specific defense they are trying to make, but they are not moving past the center line.
Interesting.
And I'm confused at why that is happening.
So the Madrid fans now, they have every reason to cheer.
Yeah.
And more beer looks like it's thrown into the frame for them, but they wouldn't care. Juventus would have a moment to attack, but that would be truncated because of an unforced error here. Fran Garcia will effect the throw-in, and Kylian Mbappe could be making an appearance in this game. And, talk about the fact that Kylian Mbappe hasn't really been a mainstay in this team, in this tournament. But all of a sudden, there's a young boy who pops up, and he's giving the Madrid fans the vibes Raul Gonzalez gave them some years back.
That you don't necessarily have to put so much burden on him. You understand? I mean, he's not going to be the starter. Everybody knows that. It's always going to be between what's the name? Rodrigo, Jude Bellingham, Kylian Mbappe, and the Vinicius Junior. But at the end of the day, the exposure should be given to the young ones who are coming from the academy, so that they will know that there's a pathway for them into the mainstream team. You understand? So if they perform very well, there's a probability, there's a likelihood that they will be given the opportunity to be in the team. You understand? So and I think this is a match that is calling for Kylian Mbappe, because the pace has slowed a bit. You understand? And because of how pacey he is, if Madrid plays on the counter attack, that is going to be very effective for him.
Interesting. 64 minutes played. Kylian Mbappe, we've seen him warm up a couple of times, but then it's time for Gonzalo Garcia to whip one into the box. But then that was a good intervention there by Juventus. They are back in possession of the ball and they would move forward again. Locatelli coiling for it, but doesn't get it. And Real Madrid are beginning to press very, very high. And that wins them the ball. And that's what my analysts are talking about, the fact that Juventus do not want to press, but Madrid are doing all the pressing. Kylian Mbappe could be thrown into the fray in the next couple of minutes. But for now, it's Vini Jr. who's playing football at a walking pace. That's Fran Garcia to Arda Güler, who has been quite good in central midfield today alongside his partner Fede Valverde. And 65 minutes on the clock now. Juventus are trailing by a lone goal. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on TikTok. Let's hear from you. Where are you watching this game from? Let's just hear from you. Ball played and lovely ball from Jude Bellingham. The cross into the box and Diego Rugani will just have a touch of that one. And Juventus would have another corner to defend, but there he goes. You speak of the devil, and he's here. Kylian Mbappe about to make an appearance in this game. Messi.
Very much anticipated.
The fans are yearning. It looks like they're clamoring for him.
The atmosphere has changed, and I think it will impact, the pace of the game. Right now it seems like the pace was dropping. He's going to, bring a lot of changes. Since Juventus made their changes, two very pivotal changes, it has not even impacted their style of play. So I think Mbappe is bringing the fire. Interesting.
Another cross, but then another intervention, and that was Arda Güler. He's really made his presence felt wherever he's been on the pitch. And there's one of the youngsters being tipped, to rule world football in the next couple of years. He goes short, goes to Trent to return the favor to Arda Güler. He whips one with his left foot, but then comes off the back of the Juventus defender. Ball falls kindly to Jude Bellingham, who tried to finish one. Another shot and another block again by Juventus. And at this point, there's quite a lot of pressure on them. And Kefren Turam will try to give them some breathing space over there. Pierre Kalulu moves in field to the substitute Nico Gonzalez. Would also find Cambiaso, and Juventus are struggling to even break free, and the press looks, so intense for them to even deal with.
It's all about the press. In the first half, both teams were a bit laid back. You understand? I mean, they were. I don't know whether they wanted to study how the game was going to flow, how the pace of the game was going to flow. But in the second half, Madrid has upped the game. I mean, it's the same tactical disposition, but they've been able to improve upon their ball recovery and their ball winning. You understand? I mean, they are now moving faster. They are now covering more grounds. They are now pressing higher off the pitch than in the first half. So these are the three changes that has effectively changed the game towards Madrid.
Right. So a tactical breakdown there by force, and Kylian Mbappe replaces the goal scorer, the young chap, just 20 years of age, and he's taking this tournament by storm. So with that goal, he's now joined second top scorer in the competition, along with a couple of players, because Di Maria has scored the most goals with 4, but then his Benfica side are no more played in the tournament, which makes room for some of these players, to add up to the tally and make a case for themselves as far as the golden shoe is concerned. But then header out by Dane Hussein, who's been rock solid. He's been unfazed by every challenge so far. Kylian Mbappe will take the pass from Vini Jr. Back to Vini, back to Kylian, back to Vini, then back to Dane Hussein in defense for Real Madrid. Tchouameni into midfield to Valverde. Kylian Mbappe's first crucial touch. Back to Kylian Mbappe in the box, trying to find a footing. But then that ball will be cleared. Fran Garcia will head back to Tchouameni. Tchouameni back to Valverde, and he'll shoot. But it's the Gregorio right behind the ball, despite that early deflection, not troubling the goalkeeper at all. And Juventus would want to break away over here. They've lacked options in the middle third as well as the attacking third. In that second half, they've really been limited by Real Madrid. Locatelli will spread play, finds Cambiaso. Nico Gonzalez. Kenan Yildiz. Rugani. couple of leg overs over there. Philip Kostic, formerly of Eintracht Frankfurt. He moved to Juventus a couple of seasons ago. No more the starter he used to be during his early days at the club. Juventus trying to tread cautiously. With a hold up, play the shot, and that flashes across the face of goal. And it was gently wide into the box of Real Madrid. Kolo Muani with a good hold up play over there, and the shot will just go wide. Messi.
Finally, they have come forward and making, a lot of pressing. Finally, it's like the first time in their second half that they've brought a little pressure.
Another crucial, very shocking substitution, because Tune Cup Minus is replacing Kenan Yildiz. I have termed him or labeled him as the revelation so far in this tournament. Maybe alongside Gonzalo Garcia after that goal. But you think that's the right, substitution?
It depends on what a coach is seeking to do. You understand? I mean, is he trying to freshen up this, or is he trying to keep, the scoreline respectable? So at the end of the day, you ask yourself, what is the strength of the players that have been brought in? You understand? Are they going to be able to press? Are they going to be able to break the lines? Remember, in the first half, in the first 10 minutes of the first half, the Juventus team were able to spot the spaces that have been left in between the back three of Madrid, but from the beginning of this second half, they have not been able to see the spaces. You understand? I mean,
Juventus attacking now, and I'll get back to you in a bit. But then there's a big chance. Philip Kostic with a cross into the box, headed out. But that's a quick press again, and Juventus would lose possession again. And this time, it's Jude Bellingham tries to find Vini Jr. Vini Jr. stretches, but then gets that one under control. And Kylian Mbappe will make the run. Kylian Mbappe into the box, will check onto his right foot. Will he nail that one down? Yes, he does. But over elaboration, what a save again from Di Gregorio, and that was a world-class save from the Juventus goalkeeper. Madrid are not done yet. They'll keep knocking on the left foot, checks onto the right. Jude Bellingham right at the edge of the box finds Tchouameni. Tchouameni will move to the left-hand side to Fran Garcia, and it's Kylian again. Another touch, 1-2 with Vini Jr. That's a lack of proper control there, and breathing space, some respite for them again. And this is what you get, the movement. Maybe Gonzalo Garcia wasn't giving them that, but then all of a sudden, in the space of 5 minutes, we've seen some quick movement from Kylian Mbappe, and he's bonded so well with Vini Jr.
It's all about the pace, you understand? I mean, I did indicate that Kylian Mbappe is going to give them a new dimension, you understand? I mean, because he's got so much pace, he's got so much, movement about him. Garcia has got, he doesn't have the understanding of moving without the ball. He wants the ball at his feet. But Kylian Mbappe is comfortable either with the ball at his feet or running into spaces and the ball being given to him. So these are the different dynamics that different players do give you. And these are the options that Madrid have on the bench. That is why you are talking about one of the best teams in world football, because they've got the luxury of players who can change the momentum of the game at any given time.
Interesting, and it still remains Real Madrid 1, Juventus 0. Game 7 or the 7th out of 8 games in the round of 16 stage are the FIFA Club World Cup 2025, and it's Gonzalo Garcia's goal still separating the two sides over here. Nico Gonzalez caught napping there, ball stolen, and Jude Bellingham will set up Arda Güler, waiting for the run of Kylian Mbappe. Ball falls to Vini Jr. Lovely skill over there. Vini Jr. a bit of skill there, will move back. Fran Garcia will find Federico Valverde to Jude Bellingham. And there's this interesting style Real Madrid are adopting. They try to play at a walking pace, even when they are attacking. They just love to slow the game down, and that's what we are seeing them do now. Maybe they have the next game in mind. Maybe they are not trying to push so hard, but then Kylian Mbappe will lose possession of that ball. Pierre Kalulu.
There are two facets of the game from Real Madrid, you understand? When they are in control of possession and all the players of Juventus are behind the ball, they tend to slow the pace of the game. But when they are in transition, when they want to counter attack, you look at the pace at which they move the ball. So it is actually in two spheres, right? It is not necessarily slow. It is what they want to do that determines how they move the ball.
Right, so a bit of tactical breakdown there, and Juventus are still trailing in this game. Bakir Turam will make an incursion there. Kefran Turam still with the ball, forced to Kostic. And the cross will come off Aurelio Tchouameni, but Juventus would knock again. A long ball, and that nearly caught Thibaut Courtois off guard. Interesting there. And that could have been a spectacular goal scored there by Juventus. And wow, that's Alberto at the right-hand side of defense. And guess who's coming in? So Weston McKennie could be making an appearance. He is from the USA originally, so he could be playing in front of a couple of United States or American fans over there, and then also Federico Gatti. But then another cooling break, 15 minutes more to go here, and it looks, but certain that your prediction could be coming through. That's barring any more goals in this game, then perhaps your 1-0 prediction will be coming to pass.
It might. It just might. If Juventus keeps defending and they keep their defense up, they could. But should anything happen, I think they can equalize. They have a chance of equalizing in this game. But I think Mbappe's entry into the game has really set players like Jude Bellingham. He's now found a nice pace. So you see that now he's interfering more. He's having a lot more passes. He's giving them a lot more chance. So that Bellingham and then, Mbappe and then Vinicius are just gelling together nicely. It's creating that bromance, and it's very beautiful to watch.
Wow. And
that's what Juventus lacks. They lack that cohesion when it comes to pressing forward.
Wow. So Luka Modric would also be making an appearance in this game. Weston McKennie still on the touchline. Federico Gatti. A couple of seasons ago, he was voted the best defender in the Italian Serie A season. Weston McKennie also had football stint in England and so on. But then it's all about Luka Modric for now, and he would be bowing out on a high, especially if Real Madrid should go on and win this tournament, and that would be his last piece of silverware for the club. But Fran Garcia is making way for. Okay, so it's actually Adagula who would be replaced by Luka Modric, and this tells you that it's one thing, they need control in midfield. They because if you have Valverde, you have Luka Modric, then obviously they just want to control the tempo and the pace of the game, I believe.
They are necessarily going to control the tempo of the game, but when it comes that they should be on the counter-attack, they will. But talking about Luka Modric, from a player who his first season in Madrid was voted the worst signing in the history of Madrid, going on to become one of the greatest in the history of Madrid, that just tells you how far he has come. You understand? I mean, from signing from Tottenham to Madrid, and going on to AC Milan. I thought it was going to ride into the sunset, go to Saudi Arabia, make the money, but I mean, it just shows you how competitive he is. He wants to go to AC Milan and then test the Italian Serie A, which is not a mincemeat, which is also a very, very difficult league to play in.
Interesting. All right, so Real Madrid with a substitution, and it's Arda Güler who has been replaced by Luka Modric. Manuel Locatelli would find Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez still in possession, and he has the run of Cambiaso. Nico Gonzalez would want to do it all alone, which he still continues to do. Pierre Kalulu. Filip Kostic will call for it. He gets it back into midfield to Kefren Turam. Manuel Locatelli. Locatelli would want to shoot. He forces a shot over there, but he goes for the pass to the right-hand side, finds Cambiaso. Cambiaso checks onto his left foot, back to Manuel Locatelli. Locatelli with a cross, but then that was just low, not what everyone expected from him. But then Juventus will gather and move forward again. And now it's Real Madrid defending with 2 layers of 4, and Kylian Mbappe being the lone player up front. They are not taking chances at this point of the game. They have just about 10 minutes to keep their sheets clean and make it through to the next round. A goal for Juventus will mean that there could be the possibility of extra time in this game. Juventus with the ball, a long ball to the the back post, but then no one there to connect. And Kolomwani will stack a leg in that one. Kefran Turam will regain possession for Juventus. And Juventus, Cambiaso would nutmeg his opponent. This could be a goal. And that ball, that cutback from Cambiaso just didn't find the right player. And Vini Jr. will give Real Madrid some space. Luka Modric. And that's why he was brought on, just to cool down the tempo. And he's doing just that for them. Kylian. Antonio Rudiger. Back to Kylian. Luka Modric. Lovely pass to find Vini Jr. Vini Jr. one-on-one. Lovely. And there should be a goal. But Kylian Mbappe just couldn't stack a leg in there. That's not a connection you're hoping he makes over there. But then that was some exquisite piece of skill by Vinicius Jr. from the left-hand side. Juventus now on the attack. Fran Garcia win possession. Jude Bellingham. Modric back to Bellingham. Dean Jose to Aurelien Tchouameni. And that's just what we could expect from this game in the next couple of minutes. 9 more minutes to play, and it looks like Real Madrid would comfortably want to keep it this way.
Real Madrid comfortably want to keep it this way because they would not want to expend so much energy again. But what is going to force Madrid into expending much more energy is what Juventus does. You understand? In the next couple of minutes, and if they are able to get a lot of men onto the ball, because what we see currently is that they are being domiciled, they are being dormant. You understand? I mean, we don't necessarily see from them what we expect from, because they are losing, and I expect more from them. But currently, so far, I did not see that from them. 82
minutes played. Real Madrid still lead Juventus by a lone goal. Real Madrid still in possession, and the winner of this game set to face the winner of the game. The matchup between Juventus and then also FC Monterrey of Mexico. A lovely pass to Vini Jr. from Kylian Mbappe. Vini Jr. again would try to find the far corner, but that would take a wicked deflection. Ball wouldn't get to its intended destination. Real Madrid again will press high and win the ball. Federico Valverde to Tchouameni. Will he hit that one from a distance? Yes, he does, and that was just parried away by Di Gregorio. He's been the busier of the two goalkeepers, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's had the most end of the heat, and he's managed it so well. He's managed it, except that goal that went past him.
That was a goal he could have practically done nothing about.
Exactly.
Could he? All right, so Real Madrid, they want the cushioning here. They are 1 up. If it should remain this way, it means that they'll book a place in the quarterfinals of the FIFA Club World Cup, and they would get to face either Borussia Dortmund or FC Monterrey. But now, corner from Luka Modric. A long one headed out by Juventus. And the Real Madrid fans won't stop cheering. Interesting scenes. And it gives you a feel of what we should expect next year when the national teams, 48 of them, just head to the United States, Mexico, and Canada for the Mondial.
But you see, Josiah, I get saddened, you understand, when I see European football like this, when I see American football like this, when I see Asian football like this, because you come to Africa and you see attendance in the stadia, and it is worse. You understand? You see a capacity of 20,000, you see only 2,000, 3,000 people in the stadium. So the question is that what are we not doing right? Because even when we are complaining that people are not in the stadium in the US because of the heat, the capacity is more than half full. You understand? So whatever good thing that is happening in other people's places, we would have to replicate that in our own, so that our football will grow. That is why our representatives in this tournament were very symbolic. What's the name? Sundowns.
Yeah.
I mean, they put up a great effort. So what are we doing as a continent to improve our football?
That's a question for the gods, the $1 million question there. But then Vini Jr. will attack Kylian Mbappe in the back to Luka. Fran Garcia, and referee says that is a corner because that ball was adjudged to have come off a Juventus player last. And 85 minutes, just 5 more minutes of regular time to do here. Trent, he assisted the goal for Real Madrid, and you could see the excitement on his face. But then, yeah, that ball definitely came off a Juventus player, and Trent will be hoping it to effect one. But then some substitutions will be made over here, and Federico Gatti and McKennie, they've been waiting on the touchline for quite a while now. But it's not time for them to join the action. Manuel Locatelli and Rugani are off. Weston McKennie and then also Federico Gatti would be making way for the last 5 minutes plus added on time in this game. Real Madrid still lead Juventus by a lone goal. We are live on TikTok, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube. My name is Josiah. It's the Al Media channel. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe, join the family, because we'll be feeding you with exciting content. Corner swinging, no header over there, but then Real Madrid will regain possession again. They've been active at the edge of the Juventus box. Vini will move again. Now Kylian Mbappe, Fran Garcia, Luka Modric. A twist and turn would move back to Tchouameni. Valverde. Tchouameni with the ball now. Real Madrid just trying to manage the game with a lot of passes and possession. Nearly caught over there, but then ball won, and referee would flash the yellow card to Jude Bellingham. That was a late challenge, but it was a needed one as well.
No, it was because he would have to take one for the team in that situation. But my problem is that why were they keeping the ball behind? You understand? I mean, there were clear opportunities for them to drive the ball forward, but they were comfortable keeping the ball. And you see, the moment you are comfortable keeping the ball in your own defensive third, it means that the slightest of mistakes, you are going to be in trouble.
It looks like Real Madrid has figured out Juventus' game plan, and they're just stalling them. That's what they are doing for the next few minutes. They're just trying to stall them as much as possible, just to keep their lead in the game. And Juventus is just following along as they're stringing them. It's funny.
So what can Juventus do here? They only have about 3 more minutes to respond, else they will be homeward bound. They would have to go packing back to Italy and prepare for the 2025-2026 season. But it's now Juventus with Pierre Kalulu to Philip Kostic, back to Federico Gatti. Gatti would find Kefrem Turam to Weston McKennie, another substitute, and another poor control by Nico Gonzalez. Thibaut Courtois would just kick that one long midfield, and another miscontrol. And these are the chances, or these are the balls you need to be winning, especially when you're down, because you need to facilitate something quick, you need to make some incursions. But they are not doing that, are they, Messi?
They can't. I don't. At this point, I don't think they can press forward anymore. So Real Madrid is just stringing them along and just trying to maintain their score line at this point. If they make any more mistakes, if they relax any more than they are right now, Juventus may take advantage of it. So I think they're just in control.
Another lovely through ball. Who would get at the end of that? Yes, he does. Would he send in the cross? He does. And then also another timely tackle there. And it was Fedi Valverde. But for a team that's trailing with minutes to go, I think they are showing real ambition.
No, but you see, let's even forget about what Juventus is doing or not doing. But is there anything that Fedi Valverde cannot do?
I doubt. Maybe
you understand. I mean, I see Valverde, and I see an epitome of a representative. You understand? I mean, whatever the position, whatever the role, whatever the assignment, he's up to the task. And the funny thing is that he doesn't give you less than an 8 every single day. Whether he's playing as a makeshift right back, whether whether he's playing as a right winger, whether he's playing as a defensive midfielder, whether he's playing as a boss-to-boss midfielder, he gives you his. See, these are some of the qualities that you don't get from players nowadays. Players are comfortable in one particular position, but for you to see a player who is an all-rounder, for you to see a player who is an all-rounder, who is going to give you an 8 out of 10 every single game, whatever position that he finds himself in, is very difficult to find. And I think that he's a player that we have to give kudos to.
Right. So Dani Ceballos would be making an appearance in the game. Fede Valverde, we just spoke of, he has covered every blade of grass on this pitch today, and that is what you expect from your leader and your captain. What a player he's been. And there's a young lad who played for the under-20s, rose through the ranks, the under-20s, and already he's established himself as one of Madrid's best players. But then Juventus have just added on time now, because the 90 minutes are up, and 5 minutes of added on time has been displayed by the fourth referee. Can they utilize the remaining time over there? So it's a scuffle over there. Real Madrid wins it, says the referee. And they will have a throw in. Dani Ceballos in his very first, with his very first touch of the game, wins a throw for Real Madrid. Fran Garcia to effect, and Juventus, for me, they've not really shown anything, in this game. And in the next couple of minutes, maybe the full-time whistle could go, but that was an ambitious ball to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Can he pick up out his marker? No, he just couldn't. Kylian Mbappe, just sleeping. And Mbappe will recover that ball for Real Madrid, and Juventus wouldn't put up any fight to win the ball back. Real Madrid with Luka Modric, to Aurelien Tchouameni, Antonio Rudiger, Dean Jose, Rudiger. And would this be the first choice pairing for Xabi Alonso, Rudiger, Hussein?
It depends. It depends on the system,
Yeah.
If he's going with the 3-back, I don't know whether they're going to. I don't know whether they're going to go into the transfer market again, for a central defender. But even if they don't want to go into the market, you see, when you're playing a 3-back, then it means that you will have at least four central defenders in your team. You understand? But different from when you are playing a 4-back, where you will have at most 4 central defenders in your team. So it depends. It depends on whether the system is still going to be 3 at the back or whether it's going to be 4 at the back. So that is what is going to determine the pairing.
So enough said over there. 2 minutes of the 5 minutes added on time played, and Juventus still chill, but they are moving forward, counting their stars, hoping that something miraculously happened to them. But that was miscalculated by Fran Garcia. Now ball with Cambiaso, moves infield, finds Nico Gonzalez to Alberto. More minutes to be played, and the flag goes up, and Juventus' dream of grabbing an equalizer has been ruined. Kolo Muani adjudged to be the offside player here, and it looks like they could just be holding on to that 1-0 lead, Real Madrid.
Yeah, as predicted.
With just 2 minutes to go. So in the next 2 minutes, we'll get to find out if the 1-0 prediction would actually come to pass. But we are live on YouTube. We are not done. There are more games coming up in the FIFA Club World Cup. And if you're watching, then you need to just share the link so the next person also gets the chance to have a feel of the great commentary and then also in-depth tactical analysis here on our media channel. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are also live on TikTok. Real Madrid with the ball now for 3 minutes played so far out of the 5 minutes, and 2 more minutes to go. Courtois will launch one forward and but Vini Jr. just couldn't get that one under control. Pierre Kalulu now to Filip Kostic, to Kiefer Tura, back in midfield, Kalulu. And that is just abysmal from Juventus. They just can't have the ball under control. And now the clock keeps winding down for them. Yeah. And every hope to grab an equalizer is gradually just, fading away.
I feel like Real Madrid got a hint of their game plan from the onset. They just wanted to be sure of how they were going to play the whole game, and they have them to a T. Because looking at the Juventus team, they can't make any advances. Their possession is bad. They can't make any passes. They can't just push forward to make even, just any shots on target at this point. And it's sad, but that's what you get when you're playing with, world champions.
Interesting, but Juventus will have the last chance here in this game, and is that a penalty? Referee wave says no penalty. Colomwani was brought down over there. Referee believes that was a legal contact and no further punishment for Real Madrid, but the game will continue. Federico Gatti, Juventus are trying to strike a last of that one. They have their tails up. Gatti will storm forward. Gatti would find Kostic. Can Kostic swing it across? He does, but straight into the arms of Thibaut Courtois in what could be the last real action of this game. But was that a penalty? Atiga.
It is never a penalty. You understand? I mean, this is contact sport. This is contact football. So sometimes you would have to give that advantage to the defender, and he body checked him very, very well. Yeah. That is the hallmark of a proper central defender. The
hallmark of a proper defender. But for Colomwani, we spoke about the fact that earlier miss could come back to
yes. So had he taken advantage of that,
that would have been a different narrative.
The game would have taken a very different turn from the beginning. But as predicted, they could not move forward, and here we have Real Madrid.
All right, so Real Madrid are through the 7th round of 16 gameplay, so that leaves us with one more to go, and that would be a game featuring Monterrey of Mexico and then also Borussia Dortmund of Germany. But then in this game, Trent Alexander-Arnold teed Gonzalo Garcia to grab his 3rd goal of the tournament, which saw Real Madrid take a 1-0 lead in the very, very early minutes of the second half. They've held on, and they have sailed through into the last 8 of the tournament. It's been so nice having you guys in the studios, and to you out there, like I said, we keep growing. So don't forget that everything that has to do with the FIFA Club World Cup, we have it live right here for you on the watch along, and also live commentary on the Almeida channel on YouTube, on TikTok, and then also on Facebook. And it's always been a pleasure to have you guys in the studio.
Thank you.
Messi, and then also Atiga Maulifos, and to you out there, we've really enjoyed your company. But then Real Madrid are into the last 8 of the FIFA Club World Cup, and we have taken a bow. Bye.